This is the hook to bring the buyer, right? If your place looks good, they're Google mapping it, they're doing street view, they're doing all that kind of stuff nowadays. If there's something that gives them the yes, then you're doing yourself a favor. What's the deal about curb appeal? We're going to answer that question today on the C21 Drive Time podcast. Thanks for tuning in. Ryan Topley here. I'm with co-hosts Aaron Rollick and Chris Hassel.
Hey.
And it's one of the questions we were kind of talking off air here. Curb appeal. What's the big deal? Is it really something what does it mean? I guess a lot of people kind of hear that term, amongst other realtor terms, and say, well, what exactly is curb appeal? Does it look good, smell good? What are we talking here?
Well, it looks better, a messy room or a clean room?
Well, that's pretty obvious. Yeah. Well, I'll chime in on that one. That's a 3-inch putt for birdie. It's like, well, when curb appeal, I mean, that to me is to say when they look at the house, or let's say you drive by it on the street, does it appeal to you? Now that could be from an aesthetics point of view. Is it nicely done? Does it have rock work? How does it present? And then from let's say a maintenance perspective, is the lawn immaculate? Is the shrubs trimmed? Is there roses growing in the garden? What's happening there? So, I mean, a few different facets to that curb appeal.
Yeah, I think, there's the old saying that how you do one thing is how you do everything, right? And so I think there's sort of that. I know I have some clients who the stigma is if the house looks good, it's nice and clean, the yard's presentable, that the deal will be an easier transaction. They've got maybe financial stuff in line. They've got, there's no hiccups or less hiccups possibly going forward. There's a bit of a stigma or an assumption, I think, based on that too.
And I think curb appeal is going to be somewhat based on opinion.
Yep.
What people like. Maybe I like brick. Maybe you like stucco. Maybe you like siding. Great. I think also from the buyer side, when you pull up and you see that house, and for me, the curb appeal is the overall care and maintenance that shows pride of ownership.
Absolutely.
And it gives you that positive feeling going in, like, okay, this house looks great out here. Now it's going to look great inside.
Yep. Yeah, and people will say that sometimes. It's like, okay, the curb appeal, we got excited about it. We maybe saw the picture, we did a drive-by, we made the call. And interior-wise may have been a reflection of that, or it may be a disappointment.
Yeah,
there's
absolutely.
no right or wrong. Give you the example, we had one that was a few years back, and it was we represented a bank in a repossessions. House from the outside, triple car garage, Tyndall stone exterior, good section of town, very attractively priced, we'll say. Aaron set a cot up inside because I think it got shown about 17,000 times.
Showed it 24 times.
24. So to those tuning in, for one agent, that's a lot.
In 36 hours.
Yeah. And then a couple of the other 50 agents around the countryside, I mean, it got shown a lot of time. So it presented itself well from the curb. However, inside it was obviously, very well used. There was some other issues that were at play.
Very well used.
It was rough. So, I mean, at the end of the day, it's like the curb appeal was very good. Interior appeal, not so good. So it ended up having many offers on it, and traffic was insane. Mm-hmm. But it was a neat thing because people look at the price point, they looked at the picture and went, "That's got to be a good buy." And our traffic online and on boots on the ground was through the roof.
Yeah, and that's a great example of straight up curb appeal. Is more often than not, the first picture you see, you go onto realtor.ca, see that house, click that button, the first one that comes up is the exterior shot.
Yeah. Well, as a seller, your primary goal, 99% of the time, is to get the house sold, right? That's why they hire us. And if they can increase their curb appeal to make that happen, why wouldn't they? I say to guys a lot of times, this is the hook to bring the buyer, right? If your place looks good, they're Google mapping it, they're doing street view, they're doing all that kind of stuff nowadays. If there's something that gives them the yes, then you're doing yourself a favor, right?
Well, we talked about it. Hey, previous episode, Ross Muir, Hag Photography, check that episode out, C21 Drive Time podcast. We talked about how it looks as to how it really is.
Yeah.
And that's super important. And Ross talked extensively about clutter. That includes outside.
Absolutely.
You know what? Cut the grass, trim the hedges, get it shiny. You don't have to be out there scrubbing windows, power washing the whole house, but make it look good. And if you're unsure of where you need it to be, talk to your realtor.
Yep.
we'll talk to the photographer. We'll chat with him ahead of time, and he can do a drive-by and say, hey, okay, well, let's do this and this.
Yeah, absolutely.
I used to work with a realtor in Red Deer, and I thought he nailed it best. He said, first impression of a house, or going to a house is like a first date. Look good, smell good, do good. Right? And it's the same thing. You want to, if you're going for a job interview or you're going on a date, you want to give the best impression right now.
Yep.
Because you may not get a second chance. We've all had people who eliminate it right off the bat for whatever reason, right or wrong. Might have been the perfect house, but, I don't like this. It's messy outside. I don't like the color of the dated siding, or there's, it's unkept. They're out of here.
Yeah, you wouldn't go on a date and not shower. Probably shave. Probably comb your hair if you have any. Or, brush your teeth maybe.
Hair's never been a problem.
Yeah,
It's like every episode
they're always going to the
Chris
hair.
goes to this low-hanging fruit.
He's doing the hair thing all the time.
Oopsie, sorry. Anyways, the bottom line is, there are these steps that you'll take, and you're right, clutter, less is more. They don't want a bunch of stuff. They don't want to look like a yard sale is going on 24/7. Declutter, clean, mow, and then, we're coming up here not too far away to the winter. Get the snow shoveled. Yeah. If they come up and it's a treachery walk between the car and the front door, and they're either up to their butts in snow or they're slipping and bonking their heads, probably not going to be a good thing for selling the house.
And as a realtor, we appreciate the fact if something's cleaned up and done as well, because it saves us that awkward conversation of, really, you should probably put your stuff away. Because a lot of times the people don't see it as an issue. This is just how I live.
Yep.
And so we're trying to maximize, for the pictures, maybe maximize the amount of traffic in the place, and they don't see the issue. And so it's a super awkward conversation. So I always appreciate it when you show up and it's ready to go.
Yeah, we're not selling your life, we're selling your house.
That's right, exactly.
Years ago, Sean and I went to a house one time, and we were talking to the guy and getting it ready to, doing pricing and give him some touch-ups for, some points to get it ready for sale. And John looked at him and said, you got to clean the countertops. He said, what? Yeah, you got to clean the countertop. And they were full. Like, you couldn't find 8 square inches of space on these countertops. And no, he looked us both in the eye dead serious and said, well, I got to still effing live. And we were both kind of, yeah, but you got to clean them up. It's like, he thought we were insulting him. It was like, well, this is the way I live. I mean, we had a station where it goes from the bread to the toaster to the peanut butter station to it's like, well, that's good, but put it away. Yeah. Like, I mean, it doesn't need to be out on display 24/7.
No, there's.
And,
that's how my son operates.
Well, we'll give him the benefit of he's 18 too as well. So yeah. And that's not an easy, segue that to talking about clients with that. It's sometimes talking about their houses like talking about their kids. When you say clean them up, well, are you telling them my house is dirty?
Yeah, well, it's awkward. It's a strange conversation.
It can be. Yeah. People say, what's the best advice you can give me? Clean like you've never cleaned before. Yeah. Thin out like you've never thinned out before. And even if you think you're there, you're probably only halfway there.
Yeah. And if you want, I've had lots of clients say, would you mind coming over and just give me some tips on this? And I'm the kind of guy, and I guess this is kind of jumping maybe off topic, but it all ties together. Not just thin it out, but I get asked, what's the best thing to do to maximize my dollar? Do I need to fix this? Do I need to change the flooring? Do I need to new paint? I mean, I always take the perspective that if it's broke, fix it. If there's a hole, repair it. Aside from that, clean it up the best you can clean it up. Yep. Let me come back and let you know if it's clean enough. And then other than that, leave it alone. Because, you can't win with some of the renos. You want to put the latest, greatest vinyl plank flooring. It's a beautiful gray. And the guy who loves the house hates the floor because he wanted carpet. Mm-hmm. You can't win lots of times. So
wild colors. That's the other one.
Yeah.
19 walls, 19 different colors. Yeah. And part of that is on us to also prep a buyer. That's not insurmountable. It's paint.
No, for sure.
To me, I refer to it all the time as lipstick. Really, you're just putting on a different lipstick.
You can sell that if the place is spotless and smells clean and presents perfect. They'll overlook color.
Absolutely.
Because they'll say, man, this is such good shape, I can quickly paint.
Yep.
Where if it's dirty and it's paint, then it's like, well, I got to clean it up. Then I got to paint it. Then so that the walls start to go up. So it's just those ones we're always surprised by. How well did it sell? Well, it was perfect shape, neat as a pin, clean, neat, tidy.
Everybody's so busy nowadays, too. Nobody wants to think, I'm buying a house, which is a huge process on its own, and then I have to do more work, and then I have to do more work. I mean, people want to be able to just turn the key, drop their stuff, start living. Mm-hmm. They don't want to be worrying about maintenance issues or renovations they got to do. It just makes things so much easier if it's done ahead of time.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Well, and to pull it back to where we started, it's tough to get people on board right off the bat if the curb appeal isn't there.
Yes.
You know, we've all seen it. We pull up to that house and there's something, you know, there's the rusty old car that they were going to fix up for the last 30 years sitting in the driveway, and the grass isn't cut and things just look rough. It's tough to get people past that right off the get-go the majority of the time. So the better you can make it look, we go back to the first impression. The first impression is key.
Absolutely. Cool. Bring us home, Ryan. Bring us home.
If you're going to maximize your dollar of your home and want a quick sale, try and maximize your curb appeal. So thanks for tuning in, everyone. Another episode of the Drive Time Podcast. Please hit subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, and we'll talk to you next time.